Delta Zulu Tango mobile testing. Testing, is there anyone available?
Repeat only. Good morning. The time is 8:00 a.m.
Go ahead there, Simon. We got you. VA3EWV listening.
Good morning. Just up on the hill near my place. I'm going to not be able to get into the repeater once I get moving again. Just wanted to see if I could get in up on the hill here, but I'll be out of range in a few seconds there. So 7-3, have a great net this morning. VA3EWV VA3GZC mobile 7-3. Have a good day.
You never know. You have a good signal, so we'll see. Are you on the commute to work? Are you close to work or what?
Roger, on my way, and I'll talk to you again soon, 7-3.
Okay, well, good morning to you. And good morning to everybody on the air. This is a VA3EWV with On the Air with VA3EWV, and today is Wacky Wednesday. Is there any priority traffic? Nothing heard. Also, these nets are live streamed. Okay, we have 14 degrees outside. It was very nice. I went to go take the trash out. I was like, wow, it's nice, and I was in shorts. But today is not trash day. That's tomorrow. Anyway, it's 14.6 degrees outside here at St. Andrews West. 72% humidity. Looks like we have an 85% chance of rain today, and I do see that there must have been some type of precipitation last night because my driveway is wet. We're supposed to have a high of 20 and a low of 11 degrees today here in St. Andrews. That's our morning weather. We're going to be doing check-ins. Yeah, let's get started on this Wacky Wednesday. The topic of today is something that you've done wacky in ham radio. We're looking for check-ins. VA3EWV, go ahead. Good morning, VA3KCB. How you doing today?
Well, we're doing all right so far, Ernest. Weather down in the river is 16 degrees Celsius. And it just started to rain, but it's just letting off. I think it's just a little cloud approaching that's a little angry. River is setting calm, and all the friendly fowl and birds have not shown up for the meeting here this morning. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for the weather report too, and thank you for being always there. We're going to be coming back. Don't go away. We're going to be sharing some stories of some wacky stuff that we have done in radio, period. Doesn't even have to be ham radio. Okay, looking for number 3. We have VA3DZT and VA3KCB. Looking for number 3. Could that be you? Come on in.
Victor Echo 1 Delta X-ray Whiskey EchoLink.
Good morning, Devin. Victor Echo 1 Delta X-ray Whiskey. Devin, what time is it where you're at, by the way? It's 8 o'clock here in Ontario. Over.
Good morning, Ernest, and everybody else there. You know, it's actually 9 a.m. here on the East Coast.
Okay.
9 a.m., the sun is up bright. A little cool, but supposed to be up to 15 degrees Celsius, I guess, today. Over.
And you're sounding really good on EchoLink. Hey, look, it was a treat to have you in there last night at the Raccoon Net. For those of you that are on my Facebook page, on the air of VA3EWV, I shared some of the local nets and stuff like that, and I did not record that so people could enjoy it. I am an equal opportunist. Anyway, my thing is getting the word out and trying to get people to press that PTT button and get a lot of new people in, like we have Devin there. Devin, did you like that little net last night over? Yeah, you're hitting that celebrity status because everybody's like, VE1, where's VE1? So anyway, thank you for being there. Devin, hang tight too because we want to talk about some wacky stuff in radio. We're looking for caller number, not caller, but check-in number 4. Could that be you, VA3EWV listening? Good morning there to you, Michael. How you doing today? VA3AQE in the mobile there. How far do you have before your commute's over?
Oh, probably 15, 20 by the time it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm some way in there now. Looking good, a little bit of light rain. But other than that, it's going to be a really beautiful day, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, we're glad to have you in there. You're sounding really clear, you know, so I have to keep my, this is all practice, by the way, everybody. When I got introduced into this hobby by John, that's a member of the club, he introduced me to Civic Valley Radio Club, so if anybody has a problem with that, take it up with John. And then the first thing I did after that was go to VE3IMP's house. I was invited over there for the first Monday Night Net, and I was like, oh, that's something I want to do. So once I got everything sorted out and figured out, I don't have everything sorted out, but when I got my radio sorted out and figured out, and learned how to scan and put all the local repeaters in, I started hanging out on the Trans-Canada Net, Procom Net, Covey Hill Net, Raccoon Net, this, that net, that, and other net, trying to just get better at it. So this is a practice for me. Anyway, love having all you guys in there, and glad that everybody's enjoying the radio. Look for number 5. Could that be you? Before we start our round robin there. VA3EWV listening. Nothing heard. It's only 8:07 too, so this is a fun start to the morning. So we're going to hit our mobiles first. VA3DZT, can you still hear me? Over. We may have lost VA3DZT. We're going to go down to VA3AQE since he's mobile. What's one of the wacky stories or a weird thing that's ever happened to you in radio there? Michael, go ahead.
Actually, not too much during when we're working. We always had radios, you know, at work and stuff like that. But not too much. I got to say, I've done a lot of wacky things in my life, and some things I will never repeat. But on the radio, no, not too much actually. It's been pretty quiet for me on the radio.
Well, see, that's good. You know, no stories of your, burning down your house or burning up your car or shorting out batteries or this and that. So that's pretty good. You've been one of those good hams, you know. I think you already knew all the do's and don'ts when you got in there, right? Over.
No, not really. We always had them at work, you know, and there was always that protocol, I think, at work that you had to follow. But no, we never actually had hands-on experience with anything. And when I got my license, of course, like I said earlier, I wanted to put a radio on my boat, and that never cleared out. But anyway, just slowly getting back into it. I'd say the last 8 months more than ever, and mostly just because there's more traffic on than before. Over.
Rogers on the more traffic. I'm telling you, hey, look, I tell people all the time, I didn't get my license to sit and listen. And I love listening, by the way, you know. Don't get me wrong, I love listening to the nets, and what they say, if you listen, you learn, right? So I've been learning heaps. Thank you for that. We're going to go over to Rick down by the riverside there. Rick, what is some crazy stuff that you may have encountered during your radio time? Over.
Well, I've been thinking about that, and I have probably so many that I'm trying to come up with one that I can remember the best, which was I was installing an antenna, or I needed an antenna installed on my roof years and years ago. And I just woke up and had the urge to do it, so I got up on the ladder myself, and I
over here crying. VA3KCB, I'm sitting here in tears. Yep, up on the housetop, stuck, eh? That's, you know what? That's something else. I don't know if it was hot, cold, rainy, or whatever, but you know what? When you're sitting up there, and I can see that you're probably contemplating, I wonder if I can just take a, get down from here, In the old U.S. military, they taught us to jump from 2-story windows. But when I got in the military, I told them, shoot, man, growing up in the hood, I was already accustomed to jumping out of 2-story windows and over fences. Over. Anyway, Rick, back over to you.
Well, I'm too fragile, I think, to jump. I think it's 16 foot to the top of the roof where I was. But I did enjoy the view. I didn't realize how nice it is when you're actually on top of the roof, looking around, and then from there you try to calculate how much higher your mast or your plate should go. I had a dream of putting a camera on top of the mast when we erect the antennas to see actually how far we can see. But a drone will do the same job, I suppose.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's a really good one, man. You came. That's the one to tell if you have one to tell. We're gonna take a quick pause for the calls here. If there are any more check-ins out there, it is 8:12 a.m. on the air with VA3EWV Wacky Wednesday. Looking for caller, not caller number 5, but check-in number 5 to W. Okay, nothing heard. I had put one of mine on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead and share that again. I was working at Domino's Pizza for people who are not on the Facebook group. I was working at Domino's Pizza. I was in university, and I graduated from high school in '86, and I got the job at Domino's in '88. So I think that was the heyday of Love Meter Radio. So I had my little old Pontiac Tempest. Yeah, my Pontiac Tempest is not a Le Mans. So I had that, and they said, go ahead and take your car top sign off, because we have those little magnetic car top signs we had on the car. They said, look, we're having an inspection from the district supervisor, and we got a couple of lights out, run down to Walmart and grab some fluorescent bulbs. And I'm like, I'm on it, right? And we had a base station in the store too. So anyway, I'm heading on down to Walmart on the strip, go in, find a 2-pack fluorescent lights, get them in there, get out to the car, put them in, about to, tell them that I'm on my way back to the store. And, you hold on a second. I don't know if it's just me, but instead of me sitting in the parking lot, because I'm not going anywhere, I'm not driving yet, instead of me turning on the car, keying up the radio, saying, hey, look, I'm on my way to the store, you get your seatbelt on, you get the car started, you start driving, and then you pick up the mic and say you're going to the store. Well, there was this big burst of light behind me, scared the Jesus out of me. I'm thinking it's the cops or something like that. You know how it is down in the hood. And it was just this bright light, and it scared me, so I stopped, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, what the heck was that? Anyway, got back started again, pressed the old key, and I had a Texas Star amplifier in there. The thing pops on again, I look and I see that it's the lights. So I turn around behind me, and I press the mic, and I see the lights pop up, and I'm like, huh. So what do? Let me roll it. So what I do, I just don't turn at the light. I back in while it was behind me, go right back into Walmart, grab another 2-pack of lights, stuck it on the back dashboard, still in the package. I had 202-inch whips on the back of that Tempest. I had 2 alternators in it. I had 4 batteries in the car, and then I had all these noisemakers on the CB radio. And I remember I was all ready to go. I had the Hawaii 5-0, right? Da, 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 and it was like a MIDI, and it had like the drum and stuff to it. So I'm like, let me key this up right quick and see you can do all that nonsense on Love Meter. So I hit it, and I was going down the road there, Highway 1 South, da, 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 and with the fluorescent lights bouncing in the background, Anyway, I pull up to the store, go tell all my buddies about it. So they all kept going outside, and I don't know what makes it do that, but that's my wacky story for the Wednesday. Anyway, hopefully I didn't lock up the repeater. This is VA3EWV looking for check-ins. Could you be number 5?
Wasn't ham radio.
No, it wasn't ham radio. How you going there, Rick? VA3 Echo Victor.
But I'm in the middle of modifying my big power supply.
Okay, Rick, I see that you're busy, and you do a lot of modifications and stuff like that, and fixing things, and I even have a power supply here from a computer that I like to use that I got from you there. Have you had any VA3 KCB issues where you were stuck on the roof, or any kind of incidents in the shack there over?
I remember.
What'd you say? Oh, nothing to remember, eh?
My son was on airplanes.
Okay, yeah. See, Rick was up in the air doing all that stuff. Hey, look, and that's all about safety there. So I hope everything worked out good with that. Okay, VE1 DXW Devin, do you have any wacky stories to tell? Over.
VE1 DXW, yeah, I was doing a local project around here at one point in time, and I was just a rookie, only learning how to do stuff, and I was hooking a hose up to a truck one day, and for a gag, the fellow running the truck decided that he would pull the lever and shove me from head to toe before I had a chance to hold the hose up to the truck. Luckily, it was in the middle of the summer when he got me. If I had the time, I could tell you a few silly stories, but a lot of them wouldn't be fit for the air. But that was one of the funniest ones.
Well, that had to be a refreshing moment for sure there, eh? You think they did it on purpose, or you think it was, because sometimes, the guys, they like to play jokes on you and stuff like that. So they got you from head to toe before you got the hose hooked on there, eh? I bet that water is pretty powerful. Did it knock you back into there, over? Oh, that's great. I love it. Yeah, in this hobby, there's all kinds of things that can happen. I was watching a couple of videos last night. One I posted because I think a lot of people in this club have multiple radios, and I had shared a video that I thought would be helpful. They have the push to talk to have foot pedals. And I know a couple of guys here have foot pedals. That's another story I can tell you right quick, but I'm going to pause for the calls, see if there's any emergency traffic, and then I'll tell you my next story if we don't have any more check-ins. So is there any other traffic out there? Over. Okay, no priority traffic. Anybody else out there wanting to check in or just say hello? Please come now. VA3EWV, Rob, come on in there.
Good morning. I hope this radio holds out. I heard you guys talking. I won't let you stop your train of thought there. You're going to go on about the foot pedal, so then I'll tell you my wacky story after that.
No, we'll take you. But what I was saying was, as the guy's doing the video, because he's got all his stuff, he's got all these nice gadgets, he's getting everything done up, and he's on top of it. And then he holds up a package of heat sinks. And he's like, well, if you're a real ham operator, you'd put the heat sinks on there. But you know what? I forgot about it. So then I'm just going to do the old faithful and put some electric tape around it. And I start laughing, right? Because, even though you have all your stuff laid out, there can always be an issue. Anyway, come on in there, Rob, with your Wacky Wednesday story.
Okay, well, there was a wild thing that happened back in, I think it was around 92. We had this massive windstorm in November. The type that took down the Edmund Fitzgerald, that kind of, winds and
dealing with the wires.
Oh.
To get some of the cables back connected, and I didn't get the turnbuckle so it was fully, straight again, but I couldn't even sleep in the upstairs of the house because the noise was so fierce. I went downstairs into the living room and slept on the couch, expecting my tower to be on the ground next to the house in the morning, and when I woke up in the morning, it stayed up. Everything was still up in the air, and I was pretty happy.
Man, the risks that people take when they're young, eh? I've heard some stories of people climbing up and this and that and da-da-da and doing this, that, and other. Woo! See, that's stuff you do and your mom doesn't know that you're out there doing it, eh?
Well, I remember coming down off the roof. Luckily, it was a flat roof, so it wasn't like a peak roof or anything. There was a bit of an incline to get on this flat part, but once you're on the flat part, it's pretty good. But it was very strong enough to almost blow me right off the roof. And when I came down off the roof, I just said to my dad, I looked at him, I said, I don't think it's going to stay. I think it's coming down. We lived in the country. The area where the tower would come down would have been on our own lawn. So it was a big plot. But yeah, I was sure it was coming down. And when I woke up, it was daylight, beautiful sunny day, and everything was still up in the air.
Man, see, that's pretty good. And that reminds me, too, I've been contemplating where to put my tower. You saw I had those 5 10-foot sections plus the 4-foot section to put in the ground there. And I was really going to put it right behind my shack there, which would be like right, and that's what I like when I saw VA3EWV Victor's shack. His antenna is just right outside the window, his tower and stuff like that. So, but with that being said, I'm thinking about putting mine behind the garage because if you know me, I have a 40-foot up right now, and there's no such thing as a guide wire. There's one of those orange ratchet straps tied around the pole holding that sucker up, and that's it. So I'm gonna have to take care of that. But in the meantime, when I get my tower put up next summer, I think I'm gonna put it behind the garage. So if something does happen, it's hitting the garage, not the house. Thank you for that, Rob, there. And so we've had 6 check-ins so far this morning. Could you be number 7, VA3EWV? Please come down.
VA3EWV.
Come on in, VA3EWV.
Good morning, Ernest, and everyone on net. Down here and supposed to be working, so I am working. I know that's hard to believe, but listening to the Wacky Wednesday stories, and I figured I'd jump in here and contribute one of my own.
Come on in, Steve.
Alright, so when I first got licensed back in 91, I was desperate to get on the air. And at the time, I was living in a trailer park, so I couldn't put out any antennas. I wanted to get on the big bands, so I passed my 5 words per minute, so at that time, you needed 5 words per minute to get on 80 and 160, and that was it. You couldn't go any higher until you got faster code. So anyway, in desperation, I went to my buddy's dairy farm, took my radio that was a loaner, a Yaesu FT101 Bravo, and a power supply and a generator, and I went out to my buddy's field, disconnected the ends of one of his barbed wire fences, the top rail, and connected. Well, basically, I turned that into an antenna using a big old Henry tuner, and I had that in one of those little green tarps because, I couldn't afford a tent, and everything I had was loaned to me. And I went out and I hooked that up, and man, I was so happy to make contact on the Maritime Net, my first contact with some guy in, I can't think of the name of it, but Elliott Lake, I believe. And, I was so happy with that. But it's proof that if you got a big enough tuner and a long enough wire, you can talk to anybody. Back to you, VE3EWV.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that's my wife says that's what I have right now. Everybody knows that I just got my license this year, and it was a struggle to get it. So I was like I was just dying to get on the radio and out there talking. So my wife, I remember her asking me when I purchased this radio because I had sold all my other stuff to get this radio, and she says to me, Are you going to go out there and spend all that money on that thing and just sit there and let it collect dust, or are you going to talk on it, you know? And I tell her every week, hey, babe, I got to talk too much word again this week. You know, this is 9 months straight of talk too much word. Steve, thank you for sharing that story. And like you said, if there's a will, there's a way. I also found a Facebook page called 100 Watts in a Wire. And those guys don't even touch the store-bought antenna like I have, you know, like the, whatever you call those. They only do the wire for the most part. So thank you for sharing it. Anybody else out there this morning that wants to say hi or share a story, please come now. VA3EWV listening. NetRack recognizes Victor Echo 1 Delta X-Ray Whiskey. Devin, come on in. Rogers on that. It's so exciting when you get your first contact. My son John actually lives in Melbourne, Australia. He met his wife of 7 years now playing a game online. I forget the name of that game, but everybody was playing it, like Warcraft or something like that or whatever. And then she came to Canada to, you know, see how things were going. They all fell in love and stuff like that. And then because Australia's a Commonwealth, he didn't even have to go through all this immigration stuff. And he's been happily married there, living in Melbourne, and we hope to go be able to visit him soon there. Thank you for sharing that, Devin. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at the 8:30 mark there. We've had 28 minutes of fun already. We've got to talk to VA3DZT, VA3KCB, VA3XAD, VA3AQD, VA3 Echo Victor, VA3 ARF, and VE3EZB. All right. Is there anybody else want to check in? Please come now. Come on in, Rob. Go ahead.
I have much respect for the story about the beverage antenna with the big electric fence, and you can talk till cows come home.
Nice. I wish I had a thought of that.
Y'all got me dying over here. I knew Steve was going to hear that talking until the cows come home. That's what I'm talking about, you know. Oh, wow. That's good stuff there. All right, folks. Let's see who we have. We haven't missed anybody. Oh, Michael. No, Michael's told his story anymore. But I'm going to just let the mic go here for a second and do a little open mic. If anybody wants to have a comment or anything, please come now.
Morning, everyone. VE3RGC Mobile.
VE3RGC, come on in.
Come on, it's just out in the mobile and can get into the repeater this morning. It's coming in really well out here and wanted to say good morning, everyone.
Well, good morning to you. We have 7 other people out here on the radio this morning, and we're sharing wacky stories that happened to us in ham radio. We've already had one guy that went to go do some work on antenna, went to get off the ladder, it hit the ground, he stuck on the roof. We had another ham that was so eager to get on, he got a lot of borrowed stuff, you know, remind me of the brides out there getting something borrowed, something blue, something new, something like that. Anyway, he's hooking up to a barbed wire fence on a farm, and he's doing CW. So that's what we're doing this morning, VE3RGC. We're telling funny stories. Come on in with yours, over.
Well, you caught me a little off guard there, Ernest. Geez, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to listen along for now,
think of while I'm on my commute, and hopefully I'll get back to you. But at the moment, I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. So I'll hand it back to you, and you can pick it up from there. VA3EWV, I believe it is, V3RGC mobile.
No problem. We can hear you loud and clear there. And yes, that was wrong of me to put you on the spot like that. But that's the topic of this morning. Wacky Wednesday stories. And it doesn't have to be radio, but the radio stuff is fun. You know, I was talking about people doing work on certain equipment and then forgetting to put the heat shrinks on. I've had some friends over here helping me. You know, they'll be doing some soldering and then forget to put the other parts on. You know, they're like, oh, you know, have to unsolder it, put the stuff back on there. And you're coming out of Chesterville, is that correct?
Yeah, Curacao. I just left the house there. I'm going to head down to Jimmy's restaurant down in Ingleside, and then I'm going to head over to Morrisburg. See if I can get my license plate replacements. I find my plates are slowly fading away, and see if they'll give me a replacement on my personalized plates. Over.
Well, hopefully they do that for you. They do that for free. So we're going to keep you on the lookout since you're mobile. And do you go by Ray or Raymond? Over.
Ray for short. Ray for short. No problem.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Ray. We'll get back into you there. You have a little while to think about some stories, and I hope they come through with that. I had a friend of mine, and I think everybody might be aware of that. They had those there was some time where all the stuff was peeling like snake skin, and they didn't even want to compensate people for that. They had to get them replaced on their own dime, and then if you didn't do it, the police were pulling you over because, you know, there's a problem with it. So hopefully they hook you up with that. Anyway, we're going to keep on moving on here on the air with VA3EWV. We're having our Wacky Wednesday today and having a lot of fun out here. It is now 8:33 here in St. Andrews West. Just a quick announcement for everyone who is around this evening at 7 o'clock. The Seaway Valley Amateur Radio Club will be having their monthly meeting. And a couple of guys are going to be meeting at Jack Lee's restaurant there on Pitt Street at 5:30 before the meeting starts at 7. So if you're interested in going out there, I'm just letting everybody know that that's happening. This broadcast is not affiliated with the Seaway Valley Radio Club. This is something I do myself, but I'm just letting everybody know that it's out there tonight. Thank you for all who's listening, and we're looking for check-in number 9 to WU, VA3EWV. Okay, we're going to open it up one more time for the folks that are out there. I know you guys have been thinking about some funny stories, so we're going to unkey the mic here for a second, and we're going to put it back over for comments or additions to the stories. And if you guys don't have anything, I'll have lots to share, so please come down. Okay, good, because I've been waiting to share this one. I had, before I started having people install the radios for me, because I've been having radios installed at my first radios were installed at Radio Shack. Everybody remembers the days of that. We had a friend at university, his name was Iron Cat, and he worked at the local Radio Shack. And that was good for business for them, because all of us young friends come in. And then, of course, you know, when I met him, I was working at Domino's Pizza, like I said earlier, and of course I had to get all of my friends in there on that. But before I had professionals come in and put the second alternator in the car and stuff like that, I was a victim of a car fire because I had wires that were, I guess, just rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. And I'm sitting there on the delivery talking on the radio, and all of a sudden I'm smelling smoke, and then I see fire coming from the floorboard. So in a panic, I grabbed the customer's pop, because back then you used to have 2 liters, and I'm trying to drive, and then I'm holding the steering wheel with my legs. I don't know why I didn't just pull over, but I'm holding the steering wheel with my legs, unscrewing the top of the pop bottle, and squeezing the pop like a fire hydrant there onto the fire on the floorboard of the car. Ever since then, I had everything installed by somebody else, except for, if you catch my video from a couple weeks ago, I had never installed anything after that. But yeah, that was a mess. It was quite a mess starting fires. So have any of you ever started any fires dealing with the radio? Over. See, you Canadians, y'all have that stuff together, you know. That's what all that good not shop. I know my son was taking shop class. They offered that at the school, electronics and stuff like that. Back home, we had home economics, so we learned how to cook. And then we had typing. So we can cook and we can type, right? Anyway, we've been having a fun night out, a fun morning out here. So far, we've had 8 check-ins. Looking for number 9. Could that be you? VA3EWV listening. Okay, Simon is checked in VA3DZT. He says he's still listening to it because he can hear the live stream on the thing there, but he just can't hear over the air. Last night, too, I learned some things. The folks in Iroquois, they were surprised that I think we had 4 check-ins. Yeah, we had 4 check-ins from this area into Iroquois. And all those guys said they can't even check into us. So I was like, I wonder how does that go? Is this something because we're uphill and downhill? And then VA3HWF sent me some information saying it's not about uphill and downhill. So I learned a lot from him last night. And also, I think if they hit us up when we do the PGC portion, I think the folks from Iroquois can hear us. Because I heard people on the net last night that were from Kimville. Anyway, this is VA3EWV. Looking for any more check-ins. If we don't have any more check-ins after this, we can call in the morning, and I can see everybody at night. So we're looking for check-ins. Please come now.
Did I hear this correctly? You invented the Smoky Ham pizza for Domino's?
No, I invented the caramelized Coca-Cola. That's because that stuff, it was like sugar. Because it was a big fire, and my car smelled like burnt something or another for a long time, and it scared me because after that the radio, not the CB radio, that was already done. That wasn't coming on. But I had you guys remember back in the day that you had the AM radio, and that's all it was, just an AM and a 6x9 speaker in the dashboard. So yeah, I even had to turn that off because I was listening and looking for like lights to blink on and off and all that stuff. But you know, you guys told me a couple of minutes ago, they don't build them like they used to, eh?
Okay, I'm going to check out this almost where I have to go. So it's everything good morning to everybody, the 3AF mobile.
All right, Rob, have a good rest of your day. I'm going to see who's still out there. So Rob was mobile, he's gone. Let's see if Michael's still out there. VA3AQE, are you still mobile, Michael? Okay, Michael's gone. VA3DZT, he was mobile. Are you there still? Okay, guys, we're opening up for some final comments. If we don't have anything, we're going to close the net. And thank you for a funny net this morning. Tomorrow's going to be Throwback Thursdays because tomorrow's Thursday. But if any more last comments, please come now. All right, folks, have a good rest of your morning. This is On the Air with VA3EWV, and wishing you guys a good Wednesday. Have a nice day. 7-3 to you all.
Hey, Ernest, 7-3, have a good day. Very good net. V3 or GC Mobile.
Hey, Dan. I see that. Dan, I see you there now.
KCB by the side.
Hey, Dan, I see you in there. I have the camera behind me, so I'm going to have to work on getting me like something set up there. Anyway, thanks for having all those folks, showing them the YouTube channel and stuff like that. I really appreciate it. You guys have a good rest of your day. This is On the Air with VA3EWV on our Wacky Wednesday.